Chris Woolsey, Senior Director of Communications at Crackle Plus. Always so great to see you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, Rudy. This is so much fun. Like, I love doing these interviews with you, but to do it during Christmas is amazing. But I've got to tell you, I'm a little concerned. I'm in Los Angeles, and it is 54 degrees here right now. Okay, I've got a scarf, I've got a hat, I've got gloves. We need to call in the National Guard, Rudy. I don't know what can be done, but something has to happen because 54 in Los Angeles is a state of emergency.
It is a state because I'm in the sweater because I'm in the Midwest and I've never seen you in a sweater and a hat and a scarf before. This is all brand new to me, and brand new to you too.
I've never been in a sweater in the last 15 years, Rudy. So I don't even know what these things are.
Yeah, you got all the way down to your
crazy.
wrist. Yeah. There we go. Awesome. Well, we're here to talk about
It.
holiday movies. We're going to talk Redbox and we're going to talk Crackle. But as far as Redbox, people can still go and rent movies through the kiosk, but you can also get some on demand. And there's a couple of free options as well too, and especially for the holidays.
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of people forget that Redbox has a gigantic selection of free titles online on the Redbox app. You can get it on your connected TV, on your phone, tablet, whatever. Just download the Redbox app from your favorite app store, and you're off to the races with free content.
Like Elliot, the littlest reindeer. Let's talk a little bit about that. A lot of famous voices in this film.
Yes, absolutely. So Elliot, the Littlest Reindeer, I think it's going to become a new Christmas classic. It's super cute. It's the story, obviously, about this tiny little reindeer who's trying to make the reindeer team, but it's star-studded. So there's a character in there named Corky, who's one of the other reindeer, and it's voiced by Morena Baccarin, who was on Firefly and Homeland. Maybe one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood today. Really good stuff. We've got, let's see, Josh Hutcherson from the Hunger Games he voices Elliot. Really, really good. And of course, one of my all-time favorite comedic actors, Martin Short, also voices one of the characters in this. So John Cleese, who probably is my favorite comedic actor of all time. So yeah, tons and tons of great voices and great talent in this one.
Do you have any trivia or anything that you could give me as far as like someone going into this movie, as far as something cool about this?
Yes. Let's see. John Cleese, I don't know if you know this, but he actually trained to be a lawyer before he became a comic genius. And he also is obsessed with the music of Neil Diamond. So there's that.
And there's a Neil Diamond musical on Broadway right now. So what a perfect time to celebrate Neil Diamond as well, too.
I know. Martin Short, kind of interesting. He trained to be a social worker before he got sucked into improv comedy. And it was crazy because when he was first coming up, he did a production of Godspell in 1972, and listen to the cast. It was Gilda Radner, Eugene Levy, Paul Schaefer, Andrea Martin, and Martin Short. Like, all of those people were in one play together. It's rather insane.
Oh my goodness. I wish they had a video recording of it. I mean, that's just comedy legends right there.
For sure.
We also have
Santa's Castle. Yes. And this is a story that's based loosely on the stories of L. Frank Baum, who I don't know if you know, but he was the guy who wrote the original Wizard of Oz, the Wonderful Wizard of Oz novel that the movie was made from.
That's one of those weird things that I think you see L. Frank Baum and you automatically think Wizard of Oz. You necessarily may not go to think, oh, there's actually other stories and other novels that he created.
Totally. And I didn't realize that there are multiple, there's actually, well, he wrote 14 different Wizard of Oz novels. And then other authors afterwards also wrote, and there's 40 Wizard of Oz novels, which I had no idea. I thought there was just one. So it ends up that it's like this gigantic body of work that really the Wizard of Oz movie was just sort of scratching the surface of.
That's insane. Yeah, I only thought there was one too. I had no idea there was 40. I got to go look that up too. Chris, you have so much knowledge. This is amazing.
And the interesting thing about him was, and this is sort of inspirational, he was a massive failure at everything he tried to do. First, he tried to be in the business world, so he was tried to be a salesman, failed. He bombed, if you will, and then he decided to be a theater producer, bomb. He started a newspaper, bomb. I mean, this guy failed at everything until he wrote the Wizard of Oz book, and he didn't start writing children's books until he was in his 40s. The first book that he wrote, and this is a great little tidbit you can drop at a dinner party over the holidays, was on chicken husbandry. And I am not making that up, Rudy. He actually wrote his first book on chicken husbandry. And apparently there was a big fad when he was in his 30s on raising chickens. And so he wrote a whole book on that.
I'm going to start that hashtag chicken husbandry, and see if it starts trending.
That's it.
And also, people are obsessed with all things royal. Christmas with the Prince. Tell me a little bit about that one.
It's fun. So yeah, it's there's a certain greeting card company out there that produces a large number of holiday movies, and this one is definitely in that vein. Very fun. It actually spawned 2 sequels, Christmas with a Prince Becoming Royal and Christmas with a Prince The Royal Baby. And so yeah, it's about this woman who's like total type A personality. She's a doctor, like a young, super successful doctor. And this spoiled rich prince breaks his leg on a ski trip. And for whatever reason, he's put into her section of the hospital, which is the pediatric ward, which they never quite explain. And so she's super irritated, and come to find out, romance ensues. It's super cute. If you love those kind of movies, it's great.
And those 3 titles, those are free, but there's also a couple, there's a ton of other options on there on Redbox as well too. For a few bucks, you can enjoy some of your favorite holiday films.
That's the great thing about Redbox. Yeah, you can watch all the free stuff you want, and then just for a couple of bucks, you can, rent all kinds of good stuff.
Let's talk a little about what's going on with Crackle.
Yeah. So Redbox has a ton of Christmas, but Crackle's got a mess of it as well. So I think we talked about this before, but we have the exclusive licensing rights to the Sherlock series from BBC. And there is actually a kind of Christmas episode called Sherlock the Abominable Bride, and it is spectacular. It is really great. Of course, the entire series is phenomenal with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. The chemistry that these two guys have together is just exceptional, and there's tons of fun trivia with that show as well. Benedict Cumberbatch, on the show, his parents are actually played by his parents, which is so bizarre. Every time you see his parents in a scene, you're like, wow, that's got to be weird. They are actually his parents. Funny little bit of trivia I dug up was that Benedict Cumberbatch is actually related to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote the Sherlock series. They are 16th cousins at twice removed, and they both have a common ancestor with John of Gaunt, who is a sort of a big piece in British history. So very strange. Yeah, totally. And the creators of the show were also kind of not the creators, but they were sort of the brains behind the relaunch of the Doctor Who series, which has become obviously gigantically popular. And Benedict Cumberbatch was actually playing on Doctor Who, and they had to give him an extra large lunch break so that he could go and audition for Sherlock, which they ended up also show running as well. So there's all this bizarre combination between the series Doctor Who and the series Sherlock.
And speaking of our friends over from England, the Nativity from the BBC is also on Crackle.
Yep, and this one again is star-studded. And speaking of Doctor Who, Peter Capaldi plays Balthazar, who I think we can all agree was the best of the wise men. I think Balthazar is everyone's favorite wise man. I mean, I think how about
you got to pick one? Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So Peter Capaldi, who was the 12th Doctor in the Doctor Who series, kind of recently, I think he was like 2 Doctors ago. He is in the Nativity. There's all kinds of great. Neil Dudgeon plays Joachim, and he's one of the leads on Midsummer Murders, which is a gigantic BBC series, which we also have on Crackle, and you can watch the entire series for free.
And one more that I want to chat about on Crackle is Mrs. Santa Claus with Angela Lansbury, the iconic actress. We just lost her. I mean, what a great way to celebrate her work.
I get emotional just talking about this movie because I like you, like so many of us, we grew up with Angela Lansbury. I feel like she was almost like another mom. Like every time I turned on TV, Angela Lansbury was just there being comforting and wonderful and brilliant. Talk about a revolutionary woman. She holds the record for the most Tony Awards of any woman. She won 7 Tony Awards, including a Lifetime Achievement, which is amazing. And she holds the record for 18 Emmy nominations without a single win, which in my opinion is just a crime, but is super crazy.
She never got to have her Susan Lucci moment.
I know, exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing when I was looking that up. But the interesting, I mean, there's so many interesting things about Angela Lansbury. She obviously made her mark in The Manchurian Candidate, which is an amazing movie. And if you haven't watched the original, you need to go watch it right now. But she played Lawrence Harvey's mom in that movie. She was only 3 years older than he was. That's so crazy to me. She was like Dawn Knotts. She was just one of those people that like came out of the womb and looked like they were in their mid-50s by the time they were like 7 years old. But yeah, she was unbelievable. She was named a Dame Commander of the British Empire in 2014, which is basically like the female equivalent of being knighted. Yeah, she's just an incredible human being, one of the greatest performers of ours or any generation. And this movie is really good. It's a music. Mrs. Claus gets in a fight with Santa and takes the sleigh and the reindeer and runs off for a joyride and ends up sort of crashing in New York City during Christmas. And comedy and music ensue. So you must watch it with the family. Grandma's going to love this one. It's great.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time today. Happy holidays. Go ahead and stream these movies here on Crackle and on Redbox. And I can't wait to watch them and chat with you next time.
Rudy, happy holidays, man. Thank you so much for having me. Always the pleasure of my month.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.